Hello and welcome back to another video in the Django series. I hope you're having a great day. So far, we've progressed a lot in Django, learned a lot, made some stuff. This was where we're. This is where we're at. Let me just open the Django tutorial folder with VS Code. The terminal is going to take some time to load. Right? Okay. Restore the Django website. Right over here. So the terminal loaded. Okay, new chat. Django. We renamed this to Django. Yeah. Why is this like renamed? I renamed this to something I wanted to be renamed to, but it's not renamed to that. Anyways, yeah. Learning style. I'm actually loving this more than the default stuff. I really have the urge. I really have the urge to follow this. I really have the urge. I really want to do this. But let's just continue this and let's see how it goes. You know? Let's just try to continue this. Documentation. Let's just complete this, and then after this finishes, we can go to towards the ChatGPT version because that's more like we can take it longer. We can continue it as long as we want, right? And that's the most beautiful part of ChatGPT. Alright, note the following. The exact output will vary depending on the database you're using. The example above is generated for PostgreSQL. This is for PostgreSQL, alright? Table names are automatically generated by combining the name of the app, which is polls, and the lowercase name of the model, question, and choice. Yes, the lowercase name of the model. You can see the app name, which is polls, and then the table name in lowercase. You can override this behavior. Primary keys IDs are added automatically. You can override this too. Yes, the primary keys are added. We can see them. By convention, Django appends underscore ID to the foreign key field name. Underscore ID to the foreign key field name. Here it is, underscore ID. Foreign key field name. We can override this as well. It appends ID to the foreign key field name. Foreign key field name. No, that's not it. This is it. Foreign key field name. Question ID. Yeah. It appends ID. The foreign key relationship is made explicit by a foreign key constraint. A foreign key constraint. Let's just keep that. A foreign key constraint. The constraint over here, it says add constraint. Is this it? This looks pretty much like it. Don't worry about the deferrable parts. Deferrable. Yeah, there is a deferred part here. Don't worry about these. It's telling PostgreSQL to not enforce the foreign key until the end of the transaction. Not enforce the foreign key until the end of the transaction. This is the foreign key. Do not enforce it until the end of the transaction. Do not enforce the foreign key, which is this, till the end of the transaction. Partially I understand that, partially I don't. The foreign key relationship is made explicit. Already done. It's tailored to the database you're using, so database specific field types, such as auto increment MySQL. It's tailored to the database you're using. Auto increment MySQL, big int, primary key generated by default as an identity, PostgreSQL. Auto increment, do we have this? Auto increment. We don't have this. This is for PostgreSQL. Or integer primary key auto increment SQLite are handled for you automatically. Same goes for the coding of field names, example using double quotes or single quotes. The SQL migrate command doesn't actually run the migration on your database. Instead, it prints it to the screen so that you can see what SQL Django thinks is required. So it doesn't actually run the migration on our database. It just shows us on the screen. It's useful for checking what Django is going to do, or if you have database administrators who require SQL scripts for changes. If you're interested, you can also run python manage.pycheck. This checks for any problems in your project without making migrations or touching the database. Okay, now it's telling us to run migrate again to create those model tables in your database. Run migrate again. Okay. How do we do that? To create those model tables. But didn't we create the model tables again before? Okay, python manage.pymigrate. Let's just do it. Python manage.pymigrate. Apply all migrations, admin, auth, content types, polls, sessions, running migrations, applying polls, .1 initial. Alright, so it has done all this stuff. The migrate command takes all the migrations that have not been applied. Django tracks which ones are applied using a special table in your database called Django migration and runs them against your database, essentially synchronizing the changes you made to your models with the schema in the database. Okay, so There, blank bold 000. So there was some stuff that wasn't migrated. Migrations that have not been applied. Migrations are very powerful and let you change your models over time as you develop your project, without the need to delete your database or tables and make new ones. Okay, that is, yeah, I must admit that is very useful. Because if I don't need something, I'll probably just delete it. But over here we have the migration command and it just updates everything. We don't need to delete anything or make new ones. You can make changes to your models. It specializes in upgrading your database live without losing data. We'll cover them in more depth in a later part of the tutorial, but for now remember the 3-step guide to make model changes. Change your models in models.py. Okay. Models.py. Yeah, change your models in this. Run Python manage.py, make migrations to create migrations for those changes. Okay. And then run Python manage.py migrate to apply those changes to the database. So if we make some changes in models, we're first going to create migrations for those changes. And then we're going to run the migration to apply the changes to the database. The reason that there are separate commands to make and apply migrations is because you will commit migrations to your version control system and ship them with your app. They not only make your development easier, they are also usable by other developers and in production. Read the Django admin documentation for full information on what the manage.py utility can do. Playing with the API. Now let's hop into the interactive Python shell and play around with the free API Django gives you. Okay, free API bros. Check this out. Use this command, pymanage.py shell. Alright, let's do that. Pymanage.py shell. "14 objects and vertices automatically use dash v2 for details to launch as code native RPL 3.13. Okay, we're using this instead of simple typing Python because manage.py sets the Django settings and module environment variable, which gives Django the Python import path to your mysite settings.py file. By default, the shell command automatically imports the models from installed apps. Once you're in the shell, explore the database API. No questions are in system yet. Okay. Questions.objects.all. Let's add the questions. Question.objects.all. Bound method. Base manager.all of Django.db.model.manager object at this. Okay. So I don't know if that worked. There's supposed to be these round brackets as well. Let me just add those. Okay, there we go. Query set is there. The list brackets are there. The square brackets are there. Create a new question. Support for time zones enabled default settings file. So Django expects a datetime with TZ and for update. The time zone.now instead of datetime.now, and it will do the right thing. From Django.utils import time zone. From Django.utils import time zone. Okay, then a variable. Okay, we're calling something question. Okay. Question. What do we type inside this question? Another variable question text is equal to what's new. Question underscore text is equal to what's new, comma update. Okay. Pub underscore data is equal to timezone.now. Alright. Do I press enter? Okay. What I understand from this is like a variable, and we've assigned it this. This could be a function, it could be a class, it could be anything. And there's two variables inside it as well. These could be arguments, parameters, and they are initialized. They have values. This might be a function, it might be a class. Save the object into the database. You have to call save explicitly. Okay. Q.save. Well, they were supposed to be. Since I didn't use the brackets, it gave me an error message. I don't know if this is an error. Bound method model that save a question object none. Save. Alright, there we go. Q.id. Alright, so there's access model field types via Python attributes. Q.question text. So now we've assigned it an ID, and then using Q, we're gonna access it question text from it. Okay, Q.question text. What's new? Yeah, it's there. It got stored. It has an ID, but we're not using it, right? We're not using the ID. It has an ID of 1. Now we're gonna access the pub date. Q.pubdate. Q.pubdate. Okay, daytime 2026. 2016. 3.952 TZ info daytime.times.utc. Okay. Change values by changing the attributes, then calling save. Okay. Now change the value. Q.question. Let's change the value of the question text. Hello. Alright, we changed the value. And now save it. Call this. What's next? Objects.all displays all the questions in the database. All the questions in the database. Okay, question.objects.all. Question.objects.all. There it is. What? Okay, there's one question object. Wait a minute, question object isn't a helper representation of this object. Let's fix that by editing the question model in the polled models.py file. Yes, we're in that. And adding a str method to both question and choice. Yeah, so this method is, this representation isn't that useful, it's not that readable, so we're trying to change the representation by adding a string str method to both question and choice. Okay. It's probably going to be below these because obviously we're going to return something, right? The first define str. Uh-oh. What did I just do? Alright, define str. Self. So it's referring to itself, right? And then return self.question text. Self.question text. Yeah. This is what we're returning. Question text. Alright, what's next? So this is done. It's time for the model's choice. Okay. So define the str method, pass self into it, and then return self dot. What are we going to return here? Choice text. Choice text. All right. Good. This is good. It's important to add str methods to your models, not only for your own convenience when dealing with the interactive prompt, but also because objects representations are used throughout Django's automatically generated admin. Object representation, okay. Let's also add a custom method to this model. Okay, custom method to the model. So where do I add this now? It's probably going to be below this, right? It's probably going to be below this. Okay. It's time for question. First define was published. Recently, okay. Self. Pass self into it. And then return the pub date. Okay. return self.pubdate greater than or equal to. So the date should be, it should be only returned if the publishing date, if the pub date is greater than or equal to the time zone. So either equal to the time zone or greater than it, time than that now. Okay. Time zone dot now. And then come out of the class. I mean, come out of the method. Okay. Datetime dot datetime dot time delta days is equal to 1. Okay. Hold it. I'll get rid of that here. Do not get this. We need the help with ChatGPT, bros. Can you arrange all this correctly? It's from the Django tutorial, but I don't know how to arrange it. Okay, it's correct, it's correct. So this is ours. Dash date time is equal to 1, okay. So there is like a bit of a change. This is correct. Oh, this is minus, okay. Days equal to 1. Import datetime. Import datetime. Oh, please don't hang up on me, please, come on. Import datetime. From Django utils import time zone. Okay, both errors, both warnings are gone. It's mostly correct. There's nothing wrong with this. That was a minus. I could not understand that that was a minus. And there's a bit of a spacing, not a spacing, just a new line to make it look clear. Alright, yeah, let's continue. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna end the video over here, and that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Have a very nice day. This is it for today. We just did this, fixed all this, and then added some imports at the top. And then they made some modifications in the model. We defined a method called string. So the question text cannot actually be represented with a better representation. And then we defined another method called was published recently. It's going to return the time zone minus the, this is something, the math is mathing itself. And then we also defined the str method and the choice model, choice class. These are the basic things that we did. It's just basic stuff. There we go. Bye bye.